The story begins in the year 1235. We are shown a Christian town where many people have gathered near a bridge. There, three women are to be punished. They have been accused of practicing black magic and worshipping the devil. It was a time when women were punished for such accusations. The soldiers put ropes around the necks of the three women. A man holding an old book told the gathered individuals, "If you all confess your sins, your souls will be forgiven." While one of the women, who was crying heavily, listened intently with tears streaming down her face. She, even in desperation and begging for her life, confessed candidly, stating, "Yes, I confess, I worshipped the devil and tried to practice black magic. I only made and sent medicines. I never practiced black magic." But the third woman was not afraid at all. She looked towards the priest and said, "You will burn in hell," the man declared menacingly. After that, all three women were hanged swiftly, and their bodies were meticulously dipped in water. Subsequently, everyone present began to leave the place quietly. "We cannot leave them like this. We need to remove these bodies so that I can read mantras from my years-old book." But the soldiers said they would not come back to life and left. The priest knew about this ritual, so in the evening, he alone started removing the bodies from the water one by one, and tried to purify them by chanting mantras. When he was removing the third body, its weight was so heavy that the priest himself also falls into the water. The third woman emerges from the water alive, but as a demon. That woman burns his book and hangs the priest from the same bridge. The scene cuts here, after which the story advances 100 years. Now we are shown that Christianity is spreading all over the world. Along with that, major wars are taking place. In these wars, there were two Christian warriors who were friends. One was named Behman, and the other was Felsen. Both were very powerful warriors, and for many years they were loyal to their religion, but continued to fight wars. They fought many battles and never accepted defeat until the year 144 during the War of Marna. They attack a city and take it under their control. But during this, Behman sees that the lives of children and women are in danger. By mistake, an innocent girl's life is taken by Behman's sword. Seeing this, his heart melts and he stops his fight there. Behman says, "I had made a solemn vow to dedicate myself to fighting for God, specifically intending not to harm or kill children and innocent civilians." The Grand Master responds angrily, "You will unquestionably do whatever the Church wills and commands. You are absolutely nothing more than a mere soldier, and yet the voice of God clearly echoes continuously in my ears." Behman responds angrily, "It is certainly not the voice of God that echoes within your own ears." Behman and Felsen decide to leave the church. The Grand Master threatens them, "You two cannot leave here like this. You must fulfill your vow." But in the end, no one can stop them. Both of them decide to leave that place and become rebels because they had broken the church's strict rules. After that, for a month they are busy searching for a new abode. Then one day, when these people were passing by the seashore, they encounter some livestock wandering without a herdsman. As they move forward, they spot a house. When these people enter that house, it is not empty. Upon meticulously searching every room in the house, they ultimately discovered the owner, a woman who appeared to be in a very bad condition, and her husband was found dead lying in the bed. Both had lost their lives due to a dangerous disease. Their entire bodies had deteriorated because of the illness. Behman and Felsen burned that house to prevent the disease from spreading. On the way, Felsen asks Behman, "There's so much suffering, but what should a person ultimately do to avoid such death?" As they move forward, they see a large city. Felsen says, "Perhaps there is a risk that we might be caught, so we shouldn't go to the city." But Behman says, "We need sufficient food supplies and strong horses so that we can undertake a long journey." Out of necessity, both decide to go to that city. Upon reaching the city, Behman and Felsen see strange conditions. The condition of the people here was very bad. Corpses lay in the streets, people were crying, they were screaming and asking forgiveness for their sins, and some people were even killing themselves. Felsen asks, "After all, what kind of madness is this?" At that moment, a man standing nearby hears him and responds, "This is a pandemic, a disease for which there is no cure. This disease has appeared here for the first time in the past 3 years. Because of it, 1 in every 4 men is dying." The man's name was Ekbal. He asks both of them, "After all, who are you people?" Behman replies, "We are travelers and do not ask us about this. Pata." Both were Christian warriors, but no one recognized them. When these men try to buy horses, a man notices Behman's sword. This sword belonged to the knights. As soon as this news spreads, the city soldiers are notified. These two are actually knights who have fled from war. The soldiers come to capture them. Behman and Felsen fight them, but eventually both surrender. They are brought to the cardinal. The cardinal had also fallen victim to this plague and lies bedridden. The cardinal asks for their names, and upon hearing them, he is startled and says, says, I know both of you. Your tales of victory are famous far and wide. After that, the cardinal explains that this epidemic is wiping out our people. In fact, this is a curse sent from hell. A sorceress has cast it upon us with black magic. Now that sorceress has been captured and she has admitted this herself, the cardinal continues. There is only one way to break this curse. The sorceress must be taken to the church in Sever. Only the monks there can end the plague. Behman asks, what does this have to do with me? The cardinal says, we are unable to accomplish this task ourselves, but if you provide your assistance, the sorceress can be safely brought to Sever. Would you be willing to serve the church? Behman clearly refuses to do this task. After his refusal, the cardinal puts both Felsen and Behman in jail. There was also a girl in the same chamber. When the two of them saw her, Felsen asked, is she the witch? Behman replied, she doesn't look like that at all. At night, Behman has a bad dream in which he was taking the life of an innocent woman. When he opens his eyes, he sees that the girl who was crying has a wound on her waist, as if someone had beaten her badly. Seeing this, Behman's intention changes. He makes the decision to embark on this challenging mission not out of loyalty to the church, but rather for the sake of that particular girl, aiming to save her life. The following day, he encounters the priest and says, we will help you, but justice will be served for this girl, and whatever accusations are against us must be removed during this journey. Along with them, a renowned soldier also joins, and the priest has a map. But it was a 900-mile journey and went through the mountains. Behman and Felsen could not depend solely on the map to determine the church's exact location. Therefore, they began searching for someone who had previously visited the site and successfully returned to provide first-hand information. Someone who remembers the way. The priest takes them to a jailed man who had been imprisoned on charges of deceit and fraud. Behman officially reaches a deal with him, formally declaring, as part of this agreement, all charges against you will be fully dropped. He was ready for this. Now they were on the journey. Along with them were the priest and a soldier, and there was a man to show the way. They were going to take the girl in a buggy made from logs. When these people go to the dark room to take her, she attacks them. However, Felsen knocks her unconscious and then takes her away. As they leave the city, the cardinal there dies as well. While walking, the man who was showing the way is watching the girl. So he asks the priest, is she deceiving only us? The priest explains to him, focus your attention elsewhere. She's just trying to scare you, says Hath. How do you know that this girl is a sorceress and the one who gives poison too? The priest says, she was found in the village. She was saying some things that no one could understand. And as soon as she was brought to our city, a pandemic spread after 7 days. Wherever she passed through, the same situation occurred. In our village, there was no news of a girl coming, yet a pandemic has struck there. While traveling, a conversation happens between Behman and Felsen. Felsen says, someone is following us. When we stop, the person catches us. The priest says, this is a criminal who works for the cardinal, and his name is Kier, Behman states. If that's the case, then you ought to leave this place immediately, he advises. However, Kier responds, no, I want to go with you. I have a strong desire to serve you all. In return for my unwavering loyalty and dedication, you will make me a knight. Felsen laughs him off. But then sometime later, a fight occurs in which he cannot defeat Felsen. However, he stands up to fight against him because of this. Behman becomes impressed by her and includes her in this journey. At night, Behman and Felsen's fights are praised. When Behman goes to give the girl food and a blanket, she tells him, you are not like the rest, you are a good person. Then she asks, what will happen to me in the evening? Behman replies, there will be justice. The girl narrates a story. In our village, a woman was accused of black magic. People filled her pockets with stones and drowned her in water. They had said that if this woman drowns, she is human, and if she does not drown, she is a witch. The woman did not drown and was burned alive. Behman assures her that nothing like that will happen with us and also gestures towards the priest. Behman asks, did the priest hurt you? The girl shakes her head and replies, yes. When Behman returns, the priest asks her, what did he say to you? Behman says, why do you want to know? The priest explains to her, don't reveal the secrets of your heart to him. Trust his words. He is very clever. He can make us fight among ourselves. Then, to spend the night, they stop in the forest. The priest tells everyone, we need to keep watch. So Eckhart keeps watch first. He was looking towards that girl. A few hours later, when the priest comes to her, Eckhart says, this girl will feel like my daughter to me. Hearing this, the girl becomes sad. Just as Eckhart was about to leave, the girl starts crying. She says, "Don't leave Hakila with this priest." Eckhart responds, "Why are you afraid of him?" Then the girl suddenly grabs Eckhart tightly, desperately trying to save him from any potential harm. The priest approaches, the girl injures the priest's hand, takes the key from his neck, and runs away from there. Hearing this noise, Bahman, Felsen, and Key reach there. They ask the priest what happened, and the priest says that the girl has run away. They all go to the nearby villages to capture him. A plague had also struck that village, and there weren't many people there. And those who were there were sick. Then the girl tries to use her powers. As soon as one heart looks like his daughter, he approaches her, and Kay feels that perhaps he is approaching to kill her. Kalwar advances, and because of this, a heart dies. Seeing this, Kay gets very scared and repeatedly says, "What have I done? They were not stopping. I told them a lot, but they were approaching me, calling me Mira. In the meantime, the girl also comes. She says tearfully, "Don't take me back. I had to flee from there because he treated me badly." Actually, she meant the priest's death, and everyone was very sad. The next morning, the girl is captured back in the cart, and they begin their journey towards Seva again. But before leaving, the priest says to Behaman, "Please refrain, you and everyone else, from sharing your written words in the presence of the sorceress, as she can potentially exploit these things against us." Yesterday, Rad was talking about Ahat's daughter, and the sorceress heard it. As they walked, they turned towards an old rope and wooden bridge. A man says that he came here 9 to 10 years ago. Back then, this bridge was in good condition, but now it has become very weak. Crossing it is not free of danger, especially when they have a heavy cart. Still, they decide to cross the bridge, tie the cart with rope, and slowly proceed. Meanwhile, the bridge begins to collapse, and he barely escapes death. However, the girl saves his life. Somehow they manage to cross the bridge. But as soon as they reach the other side, the bridge completely breaks. After crossing the bridge, they enter a dangerous forest where the path did not appear clear at all. Out of necessity, they decide to spend the night in the forest. At night, Behaman goes to the girl and thanks her for saving his life on the bridge. But the girl starts saying things that make Behaman begin to suspect her. In the middle of the night, Behaman wakes up because he was having a bad dream. Upon waking, he sees a man standing near the wagon armed with a weapon. Behaman is startled upon seeing him, and he says, "If not stopped, all of us will be killed. Kill him to get rid of him. No one will stop us." At that moment, Felsen arrives and snatches the weapon from the man's hand. At the same time, the girl is listening to their conversation. Suddenly, she starts making wolf-like sounds, and before anyone can comprehend anything, the wolves attack them. While fleeing from the wolves, a path turns into their prey. They are unable to save him from this, which makes Behaman very sad. The next morning, he decides to kill the girl, but the priest intervenes and says, "I will not let you do this." Behaman pushes her away. Then Felsen arrives there, and Behaman says, "Manjal is near. We have reached the break." Behaman changes his mind and continues his journey towards the church. On the way, Felsen says that once all of this is over, he would like to return to the place where he was born. When they finally reach the church, they ultimately find that all the monks living at that location have died because of the pandemic. Father picks up a prayer book, and now he is the only one left. He tries to chant some mantras on the girl, but then the girl's true secret is revealed. She begins to recount everyone's past. Behaman realizes that he is trying to save the innocent girl's life to hide his sins, so that he does not go to hell. The girl says that in the wars fought in the name of religion, more people were killed than by the epidemic. At that moment, the priest realizes that this girl is not a sorceress, but that a demon has possessed her body. The priest begins the ritual to exorcise the spirit. But the demon slowly starts to appear in its true form. It burns all those rafters and flies away from there, entering the church. Here, everyone understands that, in reality, the demon wanted us to bring it in service. That was the reason it killed Ahat and Mark, because they were coming in its way. When these people reach the church, they see that all the monks there were dead. They had been making copies of the book for years because the demon could only be defeated with this book. Now the priest had the world's last book. With that, the demon could be destroyed. Behaman tells the priest, "You have to fight this battle alone." Felsen asks, "Are we fighting the devil or saving this girl?" Behaman replies, "When both of them enter the church, the devil appears before them." Bahman tells the priest to begin the ghost exorcism process. Satan uses his powers and starts lifting objects into the air and throwing them at them. After a certain period had elapsed, every single monk who had died in that place eventually disappeared, and the dark demonic forces assumed complete control over their lifeless bodies. Now those people become Satan's slaves and attack them. The priest is reading a book, but then Satan kills him. The book falls suddenly to the ground, and shortly thereafter Felsen arrives, initiating a fierce battle with the demon. However, the demon manages to burn Felsen, sees the book, and then begins to read its contents more thoroughly. Just as Satan was about to attack him, Behaman arrives and stops him. He pins Satan's wings to the wall. The demon uses his powers. He desperately tries to kill Behaman, but Behaman steadfastly never gives up. When the dark incantation is finally complete, the demonic being ominously returns to hell, and the innocent girl finally appears in her true form. In this battle, only Kay and the girl survive. Everyone else is killed. They both bury everyone there. Because they saved her life and blind her, she leaves with Baki with hope. She departs now, and consequently the story must end here.